Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? Kevin here coming back at you right where we left off. Okay, so I did put the little transfer port in there with the O-ring, and then I put the big spring back on there. That's all I did while I was off camera. Okay, so the next part of this whole mess is we're going to do the clutch. We're going to put a clutch. We're going to use a clutch in it, and we're going to check it. So first things first, just want to make sure there's no wear marks or anything like that in there. And then you can see the groove part right there where it fits on to the groove part in there. Okay, make sure it's all clean. Make sure there's no debris on it. It's going to fit onto that. And then we're going to slide this over the spring piece and line it up. Okay. All right, so that meshes in there nicely. So then for the next part is we actually have, I'm going to see if I can rotate you guys and get you guys down here to see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause you for a minute. All right. So now I got you guys. You guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So this is not the clutch that came out. This is the clutch I had from a really good motor. And I wanted to check it because I think it was new before I took the motor off the bike. So I'm going to go ahead and zap off those 6 bolts. Might notice I'm taking them off evenly. Okay. And there is the 6 springs that come off of it. There is the big thrust washer right here also. This big thrust washer. This right here goes on the crankshaft, not the crankshaft, the clutch drum itself. I'll show you that one. And then you're going to have 2 others. You're going to have 2 other things. You have your snap ring clip right there. And you're going to have the washer that goes in back of that, which is this one. So, okay, so now we get that all apart. Let's take the clutches out and take a look and see what we're looking at. It's not uncommon for these things to be stuck together. Just open them up with a flathead screwdriver and they should come fine. Alright, so on these clutches, they actually don't look bad at all. You can see some rust in there though, guys. Look at that, huh? There is some rust. That right there will clean right off. But we want to check and make sure that the discs are actually decent and good. And we also have the clutch that came out of this. Let's take a look at that one. Wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, but I think I'm going to go with the one that was out of it. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. We'll just move that off to the side. This one's got me nervous because the one that came out of it doesn't have any grade on the bolts. So I think someone was into this clutch. I'm going to finish pulling that apart. All right, so down here we have clutch plate specifications, and then we have clutch spring specifications, and then we have, where is it there? I think that's it. So we have clutch plate specifications, so we're going to have to check that out. All right, so you got your clutch discs, or plates as they call them. The specification on a brand new clutch, I wanted to show you guys this. This is some of the things I tell you guys on this channel a lot, is the 100s and the KVs and the KMs and the KDs and all that. They're pretty close. Okay, here's the clutch plate specifications, and then you're looking over here at the MC1s, 3.2. You're looking at the KD 100, the KE 100, the KH 100, the KM 100, the KV 100, 3.2. They're all the same. So brand new, it's 3.2 millimeters, and basically junk is 2.8. So anything lower than 2.8 is junk. So we're going to see what we got. Zero off your caliper vernier. I'm going to shrink you guys down a little bit here. And then what I always do is, this is the one I suspected would be better. So you're going to check your disc in 4 places. Okay? So put it in there. Make sure there's no debris on it. 3.18. So 3.12 is brand new. So 3 point like that. 3.2 is new. So this thing is basically a new clutch. 3.2. Yeah, so I am good. This thing is within specification. Now I'm going to do this to all 4 of my discs. I'm going to check each one of them. 3.19, 18, 18, 18. This is the one that has the rust, but it's a good clutch. So we're going to use the discs, the steels from the other one, and use these discs. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all figured out, and I'll be right back. All right. So everything checked out to be between 3.18 and 3.19, and 3.20 is basically new. So this thing's got very little wear on it. And then you're going to want to check your steel plates and make sure they're not discolored, they're not warped, and you want to check both sides, which I've done that on all of them. And you can just put it back together. Now in the land of clutches, there's another part you need to check, and that is your springs. The springs are very overlooked. Now the shorter spring, the clutch is not going to have the pull. So if you have a broken spring, or you have a spring that's worn, so it's shorter, your clutch will slip. So the taller the spring, the more it grips. Okay, go ahead one more time. The shorter the spring, and if it's worn or broken, it will, well, if one of them is broken, the clutch will have uneven wear on it. If the clutch spring is shrunken, or if it's worn out and it just doesn't have the pressure, then that spring right there will cause the clutch to slip. So very important. And one of the really good clutch kits to get is the Barnett clutch. The spring is literally like, here's the regular spring. It's like almost 1/4 of an inch taller. I have a video on that as well. Okay, on the KE102 build, we used the Barnett clutch. We put a really nice kit into that. All right, so we're going to get back into the, what do you call it there? The clutch springs and everything else. So let's see. Clutch. Okay, right here. Clutch spring specifications. So you got your KD80 or your KD100, your KM100, all those. All right, so standard length is 21.6 millimeters, and the wear mark is 20. So anything under 20 is junk. So if your spring is 19, it's junk. 21.6 millimeters is what we're looking for out of a spring. So 21.6. Okay, so we take our caliper verniers, make sure they're clean, put it together like that, and it's on 0. Then we're going to take a spring, 20.21 right there, so good. 21. 21. You want to do it until they just touch. Okay? You don't want to squish the spring down at all. Okay? 21. And 21. Okay, you want to make sure they're all within the same spec. If they're worn, this one's 20. Ha ha ha. Look at that, huh? So these are the ones that came off the bike. 20. These are just worn down. 20. 20. They're borderline 21 though. Well, this one's not. Yeah, 21. Yeah, 20.8. Okay, so these are almost good. So I'm going to throw these ones away because they're junk. And the clutch springs that I had we're going to use those. That's the beauty of having extra parts kicking around. You get to use the best of the parts. All right. Now I'm going to use a plate that has graded bolts. See the number 7? That's a graded bolt. The ones that were on it were not, and I don't like that. So I'm going to wind these down in a little bit. I'm not going to tighten them, but I'll be right back. All right, so I use my torque wrench, and these get tightened down to about 3 to 5 foot-pounds of torque, which is not a whole lot, but that's what they are specified at. All right, so now we're going to get this clutch assembly back onto the bike, and I'll get you guys in a position here. All right, so we got this all in. It's all nice and clean, pretty. And then now comes the fun part of the whole thing. So we have the big washer, the big thrust washer that goes on here first, like so. Then you're going to take your clutch assembly, which looks like this. You're going to put that on there however it fits in. Sometimes you got to rotate the engine. Don't be afraid to. Sometimes they just don't even want to go in. Sometimes you can be like me and just fight with it for 20 minutes until you realize you did something wrong. Of course, we've all been there. Oh, the guy washer just popped out. Yep, okay. Alright. Make sure it fits into the groove in the back, or you ain't going to get anything on. Alright. Now I can go all the way back that way. Thrust washer. And then kind of a pain to line up that spline, I'm not going to lie to you. But once you get it, it'll fit right in. Okay. Alright, get that in. And now I came out in the back of the back of it. So basically just gotta rotate until it fits in again. There, just like that. Fits in. Then you're going to use your small thrust washer on the inside, like so. And then what I use is, I use my Astro tool right there. There's the part number right there on the handle. Is it 94014? That is the snap ring plier kit tool number. Very important to have these tools. And you just put it right on the end of it and slide that back. Make sure you get your thrust washer on. And you'll hear it snap in. If it doesn't, use the end of a screwdriver and push it on. Yep, there it snapped. There we go, we're in. And now the clutch assembly is on and done. Okay. So, we've got that part on. And then pretty much it's just put the case back together. make sure you have your little plunger that goes in the front there. That is very, very important. And I'll show you guys what that is. That just fits on there like so. That's pretty much it. And like I said, if you have a problem with that keeps popping off and falling into the bottom of the case, just use a dab of grease, dab of Vaseline. You can even use toothpaste. It'll just stick it right to it. Boom. But the bike's at such an angle, it'll fit just fine like that. Okay. And now we throw the cover back on and just reconnect everything the way it goes, pretty much. I mean, there's really nothing much to it. Make sure you put your drain plug in at the bottom because, well, you have to drain it before you take it all apart anyway. Couple things not to forget. Don't forget your carburetor plug, and don't forget to hook up your oil line, because if you don't, that will be bad. And don't forget all your grommets. Check your grommets. After you get done doing all this, clamp on there, grommet in there, and then undo the clamp. These are pretty handy things right here. If you guys get a chance to get some of these are here. They sell these at auto parts stores, and these right here basically just clamp off. So if you have a fuel line you just keeps leaking, you can clamp this on there, tighten it up, and it will shut the fuel off. Comes in handy. Then, like I said, check your make sure your line lines up. So what I do is I give it a throttle a few times, make sure my cables are all in there nicely, and then check your throttle. Make sure that the throttle continuously works, because sometimes you'll pull and tug on them. There's a little grommet where your cable goes into over there. Now, if you guys notice, I left a lot of the stuff hooked up still. I left my clutch cable hooked up. I left a lot of that up, but I am going to have to adjust the clutch after. So that's a given. Can't do anything about that, because once you disturb it or replace the clutch like I did, it's going to be out of adjustment. All right. Get all that put back on. Don't forget your gasket around your carburetor, and go from there. Okay, couple things. On the KMs, the MC1s, the KD80s, the KD100s, you have to loosen up your foot peg assembly. So there's bolts up on here. There's 4 of them. You're going to have to take off the 2 front ones that are closest to you. Take them right out of there. And then you're going to have to loosen up the other ones and see if you can move this thing down. Okay, so make sure you do that. It's very important. 10W30 in the case, or you can use 10W40. Either one is good. They'll both work. Good to get those in there and get those done. All right, carburetor is on tight, plug is in. I just got to put the thing onto that, and then that should be done. And of course the clutch is going to need to be adjusted, so I'm going to leave that off. I'm going to try firing it up,